It's been a long time, ain't it? But we are back with the playbook, man. Today we're gonna be getting into breaker blocks, the holy brother of the other blocks. So we're gonna be getting into what it is, how they form, why they're useful. I'll give you a visual breakdown and the common mistakes or misuse of them. So let's get into it. What is a breaker block? Firstly, hold up. They are a retracement followed by a break of structure in the opposite, which is opposite of the current trend, which then makes a price range which lags buy or selling orders depending on the previous trend. You are confused. So let's say we were in an uptrend. Alright, I'm just explaining what it is right now. So we were in an uptrend followed by a break of structure to the downside. I'm not gonna show you what it is yet, so just be patient, bro. Then there will be a price range. I mean, they are the retracement, which is the price range, which lags buying or selling orders depending on the previous trend, which was up. So just bear with me, bro. How they form? How do they form, bro? It's literally what it is. They form when price, you have to start with a trending leg, and then a retracement happens, which is, if you are in an uptrend, the retracement is down to continue higher. That's the retracement. Like if we were in a downtrend, the retracement will be this leg up because we are in a downtrend. So price then breaks structure in the opposite direction, and now the retracement becomes the breaker block. Okay, this is an ass start, bro, but just bear with me, please. Once you get to the visual breakdown, you understand. So why they are useful? Because they act like a fair value gap and order block. When price comes back to that area, which is your breaker block, you can anticipate a strong rejection, and if you do get a strong rejection, it means it's a clean zone or whatever you call it, a clean area with lack of opposite pressure, and is often used for entry confirmation with other confluences like a break of structure. Yeah, that's why they're useful, bro. So now we'll get into the visual breakdown. This is gonna be a really fast video. There's not much to cover today. Jeez. This ass, bro. Alright, let's get into the visual breakdown. So this is an uptrend. Why? Higher highs, higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher high. We broke structure to the downside. No, scratch that. We don't care about the break of structure yet. Higher high, higher low. This was an uptrend. Now the retracement is when we were going down. This is the retracement. Alright, because we were in an uptrend, the retracement is down. If we were in a downtrend, what's this shit, bro? God dang. Hold up, bear with me, please. Please, man, bear with me. If we were in a downtrend, lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Now, if we're in a downtrend, the retracement is up. Why? Because we were in a downtrend. So, after we get a break of structure, right here, imagine you got a close below, this retracement then becomes your breaker block. Alright, and price tends to retrace into the breaker and reverse. So you can use this as your entry, your exit on the higher time frame, or just a confluence that pairs with your later entry. That's why it's so good, man. I love using this breaker block and order blocks because most of the time we don't get a fair value gap. So I'll just use the breaker or order block, because all you have to do is wait for a break of structure to the opposite direction, and then you get your breaker or your order block, man. Which happens most of the time. Honestly, almost 90% of the time. So for the bullish breaker block, we were in a downtrend. We broke structure right here. Alright, we got a close. We broke structure to the upside. The retracement was the leg up. Why? Because we were in a downtrend. So this move up is the retracement. And what happens? Price tends to retrace into the breaker block and then continue off to whatever direction or draw on liquidity it wants to go to. Easy, right? So this was your order block, which we learned last time. The last move that takes out, the last leg that takes out liquidity before breaking structure to the upside, that is your order block. This is a more precise range, which is your breaker block. Sometimes, because even though honestly you can use both, sometimes it doesn't really matter, but this is just an extra confluence you can use just in case you don't understand the breaker block. You can use the order block, or if you don't understand the order block, you can use the breaker block. So it's good to have more confluence, so you can pick those and use the one you're most comfortable and confident with in order to perfect or master your strategy. So that's great, man. This is easy to understand, right? Don't care about this. This is the order block. This is your breaker block. Alright, so I'm not even gonna delete this, bro. Now as you can see, we were in a mini uptrend. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Now what happens? We break structure to the downside. Since this was an uptrend, this was an uptrend, right? Our retracement is the leg down because it's an uptrend. Vice versa on the other direction. So this is your breaker block because this is your retracement. We broke structure here. Now some people use all of this. They will be using every retracement as breaker blocks, but honestly I like to use the most recent retracement because it's nearer, and honestly if you want to do like all of these retracements, I guess you can. Like, it works, bro. But anyways, back to this example. We had a breaker block. We retraced. We broke structure to the downside. What happens? We retrace into the breaker block and continue lower. Great example right here. Sometimes what I like to do is after we sweep liquidity on a higher time frame, maybe sweep 1 hour or 4 hour or previous session highs and lows, I'll wait for 5-minute confluences like this. Hold up, bro, I got this wrong. This is your break of structure, but it's just the same breaker, bro. I mean, not blow, it's bro. What I like to do is on the retracement up into the breaker, once we feel the breaker, I'll zoom into the 1 minute. What do? You look for a break of structure to the downside. Now this is so powerful because time is fractal in trading. You can keep zooming in to lower time frames to get better entries and tighter stop losses. You can literally enter right here after we broke structure, put your stop at this high, and target whatever low you want to target, bro. whatever the drawn liquidity is, to have a tighter stop loss. That's why we zoom in, but I'll get into that more next time on how to zoom in, because we have not done all the confluences yet and strategy building. So instead, forget about the instead, bro. This is your breaker block. Now, as you can see, let's see if we do have a bullish example. Bullish example. We do have break, but we don't have a order block. I mean a breaker block. I guess this works, bro. So we were sort of in a downtrend. This is definitely a 1 minute downtrend, but order flow was bearish, so we were in a downtrend. There's no highs or lows, but just count it as a trend, bro. For the sake of this example, we broke structure right here because this was the only high they got closed above, and it's the most recent high. What happens? Since we were in a downtrend, the retracement leg will be up. So this is a retracement of the previous trend, which was down. After we broke structure, this is the retracement, which is a breaker block. It's huge, I know, but shut up and listen. We retrace into this breaker block, although the range is huge. We got a rejection of that. Cool. Enter longs, bro. I don't know to where, maybe to equilibrium of this range, which seems to have worked out. You've learned equilibrium too. Equilibrium, not really that much room, but yeah, bro. This is just for the sake of the example. It's not a really good one. Downtrend right here. Wait, high, low, no, low, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low. Break of structure. Since this was a downtrend, the move up is your breaker block. You can use the first candle. Damn. You can use the first candle or the whole range. Same like the order block. Now, we broke structure to the upside right here. Then on the next candle, we already got a retracement. This one's not really a good example, but we retrace and we got a strong rejection. What do? We long this shit. Stops at the low. And target anything you want to target, bro. You could target this high. It would have played out, but it's not a good trade because there's no context for this. But did it work out? Yes. So that is your breaker block, bro. So now we're gonna get into the misuse and common mistakes of using a breaker block. My leg's numb, bro. Please give me a moment. Alright. Some people confuse this with regular order block. And as we have covered, the order block is the one, is the last leg that takes out liquidity before the break of, prior to the break of structure. Break of structure here, which is the order block, the one that takes out liquidity right here, which is the breaker block, the retracement of the previous trend, which was up. So the retracement is down. This is your breaker block. As you can see, we filled the breaker block and not the order block. This gives you more opportunities to take a trade. but we don't want to be taking every trade of the order block the breaker block or the order block we see. Now, some people also use a breaker block without a confirmation of the break of structure, bro. If we didn't break structure, there's no order block, there's no breaker block. I'm pretty sure I saw an example just now. Like right here, we didn't break structure, we just wigged this shit. Some people use this and send out a block. A breaker block. We didn't retrace into this breaker block whatsoever. Price would have just went if you thought this was your breaker block, bro. So you gotta make sure that you get a break of structure to the opposite side of the trend, which was down, and then the retracement of the previous trend. Since the previous trend was down, your retracement is up. So the retracement of the previous trend, which was up, is your breaker block. Got it? If you don't, just practice, bro. Just practice, bro. Practice makes better. It doesn't make perfect, but it makes better. There's no perfect in trading, bro. Unless you do insider trading, hit me up if you know someone, bro. Anyways, you also, the last, I'll probably give you two more. The next common mistake is not validating it with price action, and you just blindly enter off a breaker block. Now, did this work? It sure did, bro. This is your breaker. You tapped it just barely. Wait, no, hold up. This is your breaker. We tapped it and it went after we got a rejection. That's great. It worked out. But you gotta know that if you don't have context for your trade, like why, you gotta know why price wants to go down. Maybe, oh, we swept this high, or we swept this high, we're ready to go down. That's your context. Your context is literally just your draw of liquidity, where you want to see price go. If at this point you wanted to see price go down, great, you got a sweep of liquidity, you got a break of structure to the downside, you got a breaker block, and a retracement into the breaker blocks, also equilibrium of the range and a fair value gap, you got a rejection. That's a great trade, bro. But that's only if it's validated with price action. Then all these confluences are great. If not, if you want to see price go higher and you just say, oh, we got a break of structure, we in this order block, then you just blindly enter down, shorts, then that's a dumbass trade, bro. All those confluences doesn't even matter. You just got lucky, bro. And we don't want to get lucky because we want to play with probability in trading instead of just being lucky, because you might as well just go to the casino and bet on black, bro. Let's see. This isn't a common mistake, but this is just a tip. Aside from just using the breaker block, if you pair it with other confluences, damn, I've removed and added this like 5 times this video, bro. Cheers. Anyways, as you can see, equilibrium is really far, bro. Forget about this shit. Anyways, we got a break of structure. That's your first confluence. We got a sweep of liquidity. That's your first confluence. Let's pretend this is New York session and this is London highs. We swept the high. We got a rejection. Great. We got a break of structure. That's step 2. Step 3, you got a fair value gap. And a breaker block. So these are all the powerful confluences you can use. If you want to wait even more, you got an inverse fair value gap right here. but the start of the stacked fair value gap is honestly right here. We invalidated the bullish fair value gap right here. Inverse fair value gap, you can enter shorts here, stop at this high instead of this high, because we have waited for more price action, and then stops here. This is 1.6. I mean, this isn't too bad too. This is a 1.4, this is a 1.5. So your risk gets lower the more you wait, but honestly, you don't have to wait too long. We'll get more into that when we are building our strategy. So that's all I have for you in this breaker block video, man. Stay in my zone. Say we're living beef and talk about you on your own. You're on your own, boy. Anyways, if you haven't, like and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. If you didn't, like and subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment on any one of my videos. I'll definitely reply every one of you. I'll like your comment too, man. I'll like every comment. Yeah, I'm built different. Anyways, today's Sunday. Yeah. What else, bro? I'll leave a link to my social media in the description. You can check out my TikTok. I'm way more active there. I'll reply to any single comment too on TikTok. If you want, feel free to DM me. We can chat. Whatever you like, man. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to like and subscribe. Also, that's all I have for you today. Go home and practice, bro. You're probably already at home. Go and practice finding valid breaker blocks. Just watch how price reacts of it. Oh, one more thing. This works like an order block, so you gotta see rejection. If you don't see rejection, don't enter, bro. Like what? If you haven't checked out, damn. If you haven't checked out my order block video, go ahead and check that out. I talked about rejections in there, how I like to see a candle close. This is honestly a really good candle. Why? We tapped into the order block, we rejected, and we pushed it way more, down even more, bro. This is a really bearish candle for me, at least, and this is a really bullish candle for me because of the wicks. The wicks tell the story, man. And also, I just found a good bullish example. So right here, we were in a downtrend. High, low, low, high, low, 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 low. So break of structure right here. I don't know if I've already done this example, but just bear with me, bro. Break of structure right here. Since we were in a downtrend, the retracement is up right here. Up. Retrace into this. No, we got rejections. Great. If you're not comfortable with this rejection, just a normal rejection, wait for a super bullish candle like this one or this one, then enter long, stops at highs. Don't even enter long, bro. Don't even think about that shit. You're not ready for this shit. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe. See you guys next time, man. Next time on the playbook, we'll be learning about, I don't know, bro. Anyways, bye bye. See ya.